out. Hi there, welcome along, and thanks for coming along as we continue to explore the ranch life and escape the ordinary. If this is your first time here, thanks for joining us, and be sure to subscribe and hit the little bell so you get notified whenever we release a new video. We're located in Northeast Wyoming, and right here is the license plate wall. This wall is filled with plates that have been sent to us by subscribers, and each one of these plates represents a family that cares about agriculture, and that's what we care about. We care about agriculture, we care about farmers, we care about ranchers, and of course, we care about the consumer as well. We raise what we eat, and we wouldn't do you wrong by it. It's actually a pretty amazing thing to me. Every time I walk in the shop, I get a chance to see each one of these plates, and it never fails to really ground me, bring me right back to earth. But today, we're not talking about license plates. We're not talking about the license plate wall, and we are going to be talking about something completely different, and that's basically a scourge on Erin's gardens. It's been driving her crazy for weeks, and hopefully today, we're going to take care of it. Right here on this table, we hopefully have everything we need to make Erin's garden, my wife, and her garden completely deer-proof, we hope. Because each and every year, it's the deer that probably eat the most out of the gardens. It's not me, it's definitely not our kids, but the deer do their damage. They love zucchini. We'll see them take one bite out of one single zucchini and then move on to the next, take a bite out of that one. Why they don't finish one, I don't know, but this little project today will hopefully at least deter them from getting in there. So what we have is basically the basic necessities here for an electric fence. Now, this is not a sponsored video. None of these products were given to me. I went and bought all this stuff, this Speed Right stuff, along with the Gallagher charger. This was all purchased at our local feed store, supporting local businesses, and that's kind of the way we like to do things. So while there are lots of videos out there that are sponsored videos that have to do with electric fence right now, this is not one of them. And I can tell you this much, I've never put up an electric fence before. Dealt with lots of barbed wire, dealt with lots of smooth wire, lots of woven wire, but never have I put up an electric fence. In fact, when I went to the feed store, I actually had to say, hey, what do I need to put up an electric fence? And you may be asking yourself that very same question. So let's go through what I picked up and what it does and how hopefully it'll all work. First up, we have these insulators. These insulators are what we're going to use to attach the electric fence to the posts. They just screw right in. They have a little clip here, and the fence will actually go behind that clip. And then this is what holds it in. Put a couple screws in there. I don't know if it came with screws though. It doesn't look like they have screws included, so we're gonna end up bringing along some screws to do that. I was told corners would be a little tricky. Now these are end strain. I'm not sure if I really need these. I'm kind of wondering if I can use these to move around the corners. I'm not putting a whole lot of stress on this stuff, so I'm kind of thinking maybe I might be able to use these in the corners and not have to use these. I'm guessing they're made out of plastic. Yeah, these plastic things that you would wire up to each corner, and then you could put your electric fence through here and feed it along. But I may not actually need these. I kind of want to try with these and see how it works and see if we can just use these in the corners. It might be possible. We're going to try it. We have our electric fence. This is our electric wire, I guess I should say. It comes in a 400-meter roll, 1,320 feet. It's a 3-millimeter wire and should work just fine for what we need. I'll show you when we get out there what our plan is, because we do have woven wire that goes up about 4 feet. The problem is the deer are jumping over it. So we're gonna see how we can split the difference with some of this. And then of course we have our charger. This is a solar charger. We do have electricity over there, and we could just have like a regular plugged in charger, but this one is a little bit more versatile. If we do have to move this system or use it somewhere else, we can still use this. This just goes on the top of a T-post, and this little red wire clips to the wire, the green wire clips to the ground, and you turn it on, boom, you're ready to go. I probably shouldn't have done that. I might have zapped myself accidentally. Okay, so that's pretty much all we need, aside from some screws, which we can do and which we can go and get set up. Let's head out to the garden where we're gonna be installing this stuff, and we'll talk a little bit more about electric fence and some of the questions that people have about electric fencing. I know I did when you start looking at doing it yourself. So let's go do that. Electric fence has been one of those things that we've always known would be useful to have on the ranch. The biggest problem I think that we've had with electric fence up until this point is the buy-in. We'll take a look at some prices of some of this stuff that I've got back here, and you know, we can kind of see that it's not cheap. I think everything that I bought the other day, what was it, yesterday, for this project, it cost right around 400 bucks, I think, was the total price. So when we start looking at these gardens and we're talking about, you know, how much produce we could actually save by putting up this fence and putting up the electric fence, keeping the deer out. I mean, is it $400 worth of zucchini that I'm going to save from the deer? I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's an Erin question. But over the years, I think I can definitely see it being worth it over the years. So that's one of the things I think with electric fence that you have to look at is it's a long game. It's a long range game that you're going to see. As we take a look at some of the prices on this stuff, I know I took this thing out of the package, but a broken GFI plug that I had to replace, speaking of electricity. I think this thing was right around $150 if I remember right. We've got these clips, which none of them have a price tag on them, but I don't know how much they were, but I imagine they weren't super cheap. Maybe 15 bucks for a bag. I honestly don't know. The wire itself, $84. So even just right here, we're almost at $300 with just this stuff that I've got right here. And I bought all these, which I hope I don't need, and I can actually take those back. So it's not, like I said, it's not cheap, but what the hope is that eventually in the long run, this pays off. And this is kind of our first foray into electric fence. So if this does work, I mean, I may be an electric fence fool and be like, hey, we're going to put electric fence everywhere, because maybe it's worth it. So here's the garden that we're going to put this electric fence up on. You can see that we've got 4-foot panels that run basically up until this point. The problem is obviously deer are bouncing right over there and getting into that corn there. So, and let's go and find something. Actually, while we're talking about this, let's find something that the deer have been eating. And I know that Erin's been kind of watching some of her flowers down here. She said the deer have been eating the flowers. She said one of them actually tried some carrots here the other day. So how to tell if deer are in your garden? There's one easy way. You're missing a part of your plant. And right here, you can see on this zinnia that the head was bitten right off. So that's a deer. Just taking that right off. It's not a rabbit climbing up here. Rabbits will eat from the bottom. That's a deer. Also over here, you can see this carrot here. Something ate on this carrot. Now that could have been a rabbit, but I kind of doubt it. I imagine it was the same guy that was here. He probably just went, oh, that was, or maybe he started over here with the carrot and said, oh, that doesn't taste very good. I'll bite this thing. It'll be a lot better. And it's right here at the door, which makes sense because knowing us, this thing was probably left open. So I'll have to explain that to Erin, that yes, all the electric fence in the world will keep the deer from jumping over the fence, but if we leave the gate open, it doesn't matter. Okay, so our thought is that what we're gonna do is actually split, my phone's ringing, wonder who that is. Let's see, potential spam. we're not gonna answer that. We got better stuff to do. So our thought is that we're gonna put one wire high and another one lower. So we're just gonna do 2 wires, I think will probably do us just fine, and get those put up. And to start doing that, we need those clips. The other big question that I had when I started looking at electric fence was, you know, what's the charge? How much does it zap you? Will it kill a smaller animal? There's all these kinds of questions, especially for people like me who've never really dealt with electric fence at all. So I did the research. I started looking it up. So, you know, if you zap your finger on a doorknob, let's say static electricity, that's 30,000 volts, up to 30,000 volts that travels through your body. The volts, as far as much as I know, is it's the volts that get your attention. It's the amps that kill you. So there's 2 different sides to each equation. So obviously you have volts and voltage and amperage. So volts with a door shock on a doorknob, 30,000 volts, but 0.5 milliamps over a short period of time. That's enough to shock you. That's enough to wake you up and go, whoo, yeah, that was fun. With this system, I don't really know how many volts this exactly is. I didn't really look because I don't have the box with me now, and I'd have to go back and find that. So I'm guessing from what most of the systems that I've seen with electric fence, you're looking at about 7,000 volts, which is less obviously than even zapping your finger, and then maybe like 100 milliamps. So whereas, you know, you shock your finger, it's a half of a milliamp. This thing, maybe 100 milliamps. It's enough to get your attention, and of course, if you're an animal, obviously you're way tougher than I am. So that'll get your attention, and it's over a short period of time as well. I think I'm not sure if this is the type of system that does that. I'll have to do a little bit more research, but there are systems that actually only charge that line for like 1/3 of a second at a time. So it charges, decharges, charges, decharges, and they circulate like that. But I'm not sure about this one because, again, I don't have the packaging with me. This is very poor planning on my part. Anyway, the thing is, so if you're looking at 110, you're looking at straight voltage. You're looking at this plug-in right down here. This is a 110 plug-in, and in that plug-in is basically 110 volts, which doesn't sound like that much compared to shocking yourself on the doorknob, compared to 30,000 volts. But what gets you is the amps. There's up to 13, I think it's 13 amps flowing through that, and it's continuous. So it's not just gonna be a quick zap. That thing's gonna zap you as long as you hold it on there until you blow the breaker or your hair starts smoking or whatever's gonna happen. So that's what kills you. The amps kill you. Obviously the volts don't. The volts are what wake you up, they get your attention. It's the amps that actually kill you. Now with this kind of system, even with 100 milliamps, like, you don't want to shock your head, for example. Like, you don't want to bump your head on it. You don't want to take that small amperage to your brain. So when we do the gate down there, we've got to be really careful. But other than that, I think we'll be safe. Nobody's going to be touching this thing with their head, I hope, and we can get started on this project and see how it works and see how it all goes together. Really, there's not much to it. And this is kind of the interesting thing about it too, is that it seems to be, just on paper anyway, it seems to be easier than going and putting up a barbed wire fence. Let's see if that's true. We're gonna start right here on this corner. We're gonna start by using these, and obviously these are standoffs. You don't want it to touch the wood, you don't want it to touch anything. So my thought was I could use one of these on each side, because I'm gonna go on the outside of the fence with the electric wire, and we can go here, and then maybe put another one on this side so that it wraps completely around that corner without touching the wood. That's kind of my thought. The other thing is that I want to make sure that I've got space in here for 2, and this thing's going to kind of screw me up, I think. It's kind of in my way. So I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to deal with that. I might have to just take... Don't tell Erin I broke that. I might have to just take this off and move it. Oh my gosh, I broke the door off. Okay. Rather than measuring from the top of the post, we're going to measure from the ground because I don't think all the tops of all these posts are exactly even. So we're going to measure from the ground. Maybe a little bit of a breeze out here today. And I'm going to say, well, I brought a 6-foot tape measure for some dumb reason. So if that's 6 foot from the ground right there, let's go 6'6" with that top wire. Right about there. Nobody that works around here is any taller than I am, hopefully. So if Michael Jordan shows up, we'll have to let him know that this wire is hot. Okay, and then we'll put one just on the other side of that, because we're going to be going around this corner. With that one installed, we can load up our bucket. Let's get started.
I call you up in the middle of the night, been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know where we belong. This ain't no ordinary love we got going on. I'll pick you up in my 59 Ford. We head on down the road until we get bored. Just you and me and the sun and the wind. If the rain should stop falling, we'll head on home again. Everybody else can see where we belong. Should be in doubt, and I pray they never can pull us apart. And I'll wait for the time when we'll be together every day. But I know if ever we'll be led astray, that I'll find my way back home to you again. Should be in doubt, and I pray they never can pull us apart. And I'll wait at the end of the world, together forever as one. And I'll wait if ever you should be in doubt, and I pray they never can pull us apart. And I'll wait for the time when we be together every day. But I know if ever we'll be led astray, then I'll find my way back home to you again.
All right, there we go. We've got the single strand of wire up. I think I'm still going to add another one, but I'll probably end up doing that tomorrow. For right now, what we're going to do is go ahead and get this charged up and see how it works. For that, we're obviously going to need our power base or charger or whatever they're called, and we're going to need a T-post to get this whole thing up and running. And as far as I can gather, this is the easy part. This thing slips right over the T-post. We aim it towards the south so it gets the most light. Look at that. We're going to clip the ground to the T-post. The hot clips right to the wire. In fact, I'll probably do it as close as I can over to that side so that if a deer jumps right through here, he doesn't knock it off. Okay, so with that said, all we have to do is turn on the switch and it should be going. There we go. We can see a little green light. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little green light flashing there. Red, hot, ground, green, solar panel, go. And I did actually find the book for it. So this is the S16 portable solar fence Energizer. I do not know if it shows me the volts and the amps in here, however. Let's see. Product specifications, page 11. All right, 6-volt battery, current draw, stored energy, output energy. So this does it in joules, which I don't know how to figure that out. I'm sure there's some electrical engineer out there that can do this for me. But the output energy is 0.13 joules. So yeah, there you go. I don't know. I guess the only way to really tell if it's working is to touch it. So let's do that. Okay. So obviously here it is right here. And I haven't gotten myself with an electric fence in a long, long time, since I was a kid. So I don't know, maybe it's not working. Okay. Ow. Ow. Yep, it's working. Okay. Actually, I lied to you. There is another way to it's a little stingy. There is another way to test and see if these things are working. Let me grab that tool for you and I'll show you the easier way to do that. Ooh. The other way to tell if you have a live fence is actually with one of these. This is a Gallagher live fence tester. Runs about 35 bucks and not a bad investment considering I think I peed a little, and 35 bucks can pay for a lot of underwear. So we are gonna check this thing and actually see if this works and see if this fence is indeed live, but we know it is. There it goes. So let me show you. So what you have to do is you clip this onto something that's grounded, and you clip it on. So this is grounded, and you clip it on, then you touch the wire with this part, and then you come down here and see how it blinks red. That's showing you that that's that pulse of energy we were talking before going through the wire. It's pretty faint out here in the bright sunlight, but it seems to work. Okay, so I'm gonna pick up my wire. I am gonna come out, I think, and do another strand tomorrow. It's past 6 o'clock now, so I am gonna come out and put another strand. I think I'll probably do it, you know, somewhere in here, somewhere right in the middle between the top of the panels and this, because I do feel like this is plenty of room for a deer to boink, jump right through. Let's see, what else do we have to do? Oh yeah, we have to fix this for Erin. Nobody tell that was me. And we'll leave this thing to hopefully scare some deer away, or at least keep them out of the garden for a little while. That second strand, I think, will make a huge difference, but I'm not gonna do that tonight because I'm hungry. All right, let's head back to the shop really quick. You know, the fact that we've never done we've never done electric fence on the ranch really does come from Gilbert. Gilbert was old school to an extent, and we talked about doing electric fence at one point with him, and he didn't really like the idea of having to buy all these chargers, because I mean, probably back then, I mean, technology has changed quite a bit, so probably back then, the chargers for the line were probably that much more expensive, and they actually did less. I want to get back here where the packaging is for our charger that we just got and that we just installed, that Gallagher charger. And I'd like to see exactly how much fence it can do. So going around the garden there, it's 130 feet on each side, so 260 plus another 120. So what, 380? So this, on a single strand with that one charger, check this out, can actually do 10 miles of single strand. You can do up to three strands, now you're down to a mile, but still that can fence in 10 acres. And the thing, I think I was off on the price a little bit, cost $190. So there we go, we've got the fence up. I'm sure that Erin will let us know whether or not it's working or not, and she'll probably let us know on Sunday during our live stream on the Beyond the Ranch channel. In the meantime, if you would like to get your license plate up on the wall, you can do so. All you have to do is send us your license plate at P.O. Box 667, Gillette, Wyoming, Our Wyoming Life, P.O. Box 667, Gillette, Wyoming, 82717. And the great thing about all these plates, and one thing that really impresses me about you guys, is a lot of these plates have stories written on the back, and I think that's amazing that a lot of people will write their story on the back of the plate, whether it's, you know, just their names or they sign it, or it's actually the story of how they got into ranching or how they started watching us. It doesn't really matter what it is. I think that someday when this building collapses or falls down or burns down or whatever happens, or the kids rebuild it, I think that someday somebody's going to take down these plates and they're going to read some very, very amazing stories. So thank you very much for doing that for us. If you have sent a plate that's up on the wall, I appreciate it. You are forever a part of our lives, just like we hope that agriculture and Our Wyoming Life can be a part of yours. So thank you very much. We hope that you can subscribe, follow along as we continue to explore the ranch life and escape the ordinary. We'll see you next time right here on Our Wyoming Life.